Hello. You are about to watch a video produced by the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration. This presentation is an essential part of treatment for substance abuse because it will help you understand the disease and how it is treated. It is our hope that you will learn some very important information while viewing this video. You will learn what happens to the brain when a person abuses drugs or alcohol, and that it is a disease, much like any other chronic medical condition, such as diabetes or hypertension. You will also learn how people who have this disease can learn to take care of themselves and get into recovery. Whether you are in recovery or are supporting someone who is in recovery, this knowledge will be very important for you to have. Thank you for watching. Addiction. Substance use disorder. These terms are often used, but not always fully understood. What is addiction? What does it mean to have a substance use disorder, or to have cravings? This presentation explains some of the science behind these concepts. The definition of a substance use disorder is the use of alcohol, drugs, or both that is compulsive or dangerous, or both. Alcoholism, drug dependence, and addiction are other ways of saying substance use disorders. Whatever they're called, substance use disorders are complex problems. People with these disorders once were thought to have a character defect or moral weakness. Some people mistakenly still believe that. However, most scientists consider dependence on alcohol or drugs to be a long-term illness or disease, like asthma, high blood pressure, or diabetes. It's an illness like any other, and it can affect anyone, rich or poor, male or female, employed or unemployed, young or old, any race or ethnicity.
Well, I don't think I ever believed when I was going through it that it was a disease. I think I had to come to that understanding over time.
Like most diseases, substance use disorders have symptoms. One of the most important is continued use of drugs or alcohol despite serious negative consequences. That is, bad things keep happening and the person still uses. It is common for the person to see the drug as the solution to, rather than the cause of, problems. The person cannot connect the drug or alcohol use with the resulting problems. If the person does see the connection after a particularly bad negative consequence, the person may try to stop using. Without any information or skills for stopping the drug use, people often fail. After repeated failures at stopping, people can see themselves as weak, stupid, or bad. In fact, they are none of those things. They are suffering from the disease we call addiction.
Before I came to Matrix, I tried to give up drinking, pretty much every year, and I never really lasted very long. So I definitely felt weak because it never seemed like I could last much more than a couple of months. I think that what Matrix made me realize was that not only did I have a problem with drinking and drug use, but it was also what it was doing to my brain, and how the tools they gave me was really had more to teach me how to use that part of my brain properly until it started to repair itself.
And the tools that I learned, the fact that I could change my behaviors, and I wasn't that weak person. I just wasn't using, I didn't have any techniques to be smart about my disease. You can always control your disease. It's like diabetes. It's something that you can control for the rest of your life.
Another symptom is the buildup of tolerance. Tolerance means that a person needs increasingly larger amounts of alcohol or drugs to get high or relieve withdrawal symptoms.
My using became more frequent, from once a week to twice a week to, 4 times a week to all weekend long, and progressed into every day, during school, after school, before school, skipping school to use.
That brings us to another symptom, loss of control. It means that people drink more alcohol or take more drugs than they meant to, when they didn't mean to or hadn't planned to. People sometimes feel they have to be locked up to stop. They try to quit, but cannot. Treatment is initially about learning the skills and techniques to stop using.
I've always wanted to quit once I crossed that invisible line, because it stopped being fun and became hell. It got to a point where I was using against my will. I wanted to stop long before I was able to stop. So powerlessness at some point took over my life, and I was powerless to the call of the disease that I live with. But there were often many, many, many times when I didn't want to steal the money. I didn't want to commit the crime. But the addiction dictated what I did.
I felt like I saw firsthand in front of me my life from going from control to no control. I thought, I really cannot control this, and I need to do something about it.
I left the treatment center, and I was going to stay clean despite them, but we all know how that works. Within a couple of weeks, I was using again.
Craving is a primary symptom. Craving is an overpowering need or urge to use alcohol or drugs. For people who use stimulants, the craving is as powerful as a primary life drive. It is as powerful as the need to breathe, sleep, eat, have sex, or drink water. The brain believes the person needs the drug to survive, and the person can feel anxious and irritable without the substance.
When I started craving it, it was one of the most powerful cravings I had ever experienced. I no longer just desired it. I almost, I wanted it and needed it. It was an overwhelming obsession that was created in my mind to really, I could taste it, I could see it, I could visualize it, I could almost feel the euphoria. I would experience kind of pre-euphoria feelings about it. It was a very, very powerful feeling.
Another symptom is physical dependence, which leads to the person having withdrawal symptoms when he or she stops using drugs or alcohol. This happens because the body is dependent on the substance and has a physical need for the substance. Withdrawal symptoms differ depending on the drug, but may include nausea, depression, sweating, shakiness, and anxiety. People try to get rid of these symptoms by taking more of the same drug or a different drug. Withdrawal from alcohol and some prescription medications can be life-threatening and should be medically monitored.
Today, the first thing in my mind is that first cup of coffee. When I was using, the first thing in my mind was whether to get high, how was I going to get high, what was I going to have to do to get high, and then how was I going to avoid, the consequences of my actions.